is Saturday, February 5th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Saturday puzzle, the most difficult puzzle of the week, very possibly. Not the longest, that'll be tomorrow, but very, very possibly the most challenging of the week. Another themeless puzzle, the second of two, and this edition of the Daily Solve was brought to you by B.W. Diedrich, Dan Stocco, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you very much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. That's the way that you can contribute directly to this channel to help me produce this series and make it a sustainable part of my daily work. And if you'd like to join the ranks of those three as benefactors and get that Let's Check the Crosses mug as well as this recognition, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve. But also, if you contribute at any level at all, starting at just a couple of pounds a month or the equivalent in your local currency, you will get access to the full suite of bonus video solves. I just yesterday put up the latest speed solve of the last week of New York Times mini crosswords. Of course, we also had the Constructor's Corner 7 crosswords that I've solved from community-created crosswords from the Daily Solve Discord chat server. And as a reminder, if you back the Patreon at any level, you do get an extra channel in that Daily Solve Discord chat server community. Anyway, all that said, let's move on to the puzzle. And do remain till the end of the video if you'd like to see some comments on yesterday's puzzle. There were several because it was... well, I don't know why. There just were. There were some things to correct me on. It happens. Anyway, today's puzzle is by Cameron Austin Collins, also known as K. Austin Collins. K. Austin Collins is a media critic whose work features in, I think, Rolling Stone, film critic for Rolling Stone, possibly New York Magazine, that kind of publication, and also an experienced and accomplished crossword constructor. And I think has maybe done a couple dozen of these for the New York Times. It was edited, of course, as always, by Will Shortz. And it's a themeless puzzle, so nothing tricky to figure out in that regard, just some challenging clues, presumably. Ready to get started? Okay. Birdie of Broadway's Bye Bye Birdie. You know, I've actually never seen Broadway. I've never seen Bye Bye Birdie. I've never seen a stage or a film version of it. I've seen the... from the film adaptation, I've seen that famous musical number, Bye Bye Birdie itself, but don't know. Sorry. Maize patties. So corn patties. Are they arepas? Is that what this is? Am I thinking of something else? I might be. Home to the highest active volcano in the world. I'm not sure. Kind of grass. Could be lots of things. Let's keep going with the acrosses and see what happens. Throw on the floor. Could be an area rug. So obviously throw on the floor sounds like to cast something down onto the ground. But I think that might be a bit of misdirection, and possibly it's referring to a throw rug, an area rug maybe. I'm just guessing. Old time messages. Old time messages. Colorful bird in the blackbird family. This is going to be a tricky puzzle for me, isn't it? I can feel that it is. Crab blank. Crab melt, crab patty. Subject of an end-of-year office memo, maybe. I mean, this might not be area rug. It's certainly possible that it isn't. End-of-year office memo. A Christmas party, a bonus, hoard. Maybe it's not area rug. Talk over marijuana, some say. Some say, boy, that could be a lot of things, because it could be a slang term. It could be a sort of judgment on marijuana. It could be any number of things. Maybe I'll delete that and we'll just keep going. Poet who wrote, "Love is so short, forgetting is so long." Hopefully with a cross or two, this is a little easier. Korean rice dish often served in a hot stone bowl. Bibimbap. Okay, here's the first thing in the puzzle I feel I can be fairly confident about. That's a relief. Does that help at all with these crosses? Talk over. Gab or talk over? Talk over. Question mark. What is the pun here? Talk over. Is it saying ending a talk? Talk over. I'm trying to figure out what the pun or the wordplay is as indicated by that indicator. Hoard. Oh, an army. Maybe it is area rug. Let's put that back in. Subject of an end-of-year office memo, maybe. And crab Why do I not see these? It's very frustrating. Colorful bird in the blackbird family. Is that an oriole? Oops. Because they can be blue, right? Old time messages. Probably ends with an S. Word with bass or bass. Not sure which that is. Or bed. Oh, seabed or sea bass. Okay, so it is bass, in this case, the fish. Old time messages. Replete with. Lousy with? That's sort of a slightly quaint way to say something is absolutely packed with something. It's lousy. This crossword is lousy with clues. I really enjoy that. It's not something that I have in my, it doesn't come to mind for me ever, but I find it a completely charming phrase. Okay, like the villainous Max Schreck at the end of Batman Returns. I don't know. Is he killed or apprehended or something? What would that be in 5 letters? Like the villainous Max Schreck at the end of Batman Returns. I don't know. Crab. Oh, crab. Is this Crab Nebula? Is this an astronomical body? Okay, good misdirection, because obviously I think I, like most people, assumed crab was going to be, it was going to be some kind of dish, a food item, a recipe of some sort. But I think it might be the Crab Nebula, literally the nebula, the outer space astronomical object. Okay. Old time messages. I still don't see what this is. That's frustrating. What was this palindromic periodical title? Oh, it could be Elle Magazine, ELLE. That's palindromic and is the title of a periodical, so that works. Oh, the subject of an end-of-year office memo, maybe. Could be a raise. I thought of bonus. Why didn't I think of raise? That's sort of more obvious, if anything. Birdie of Broadway's Bye Bye Birdie. Is her name Conrad, perhaps? Is that what this is? Oh, yeah. Old-time messages are cables. You could cable someone a message. Slightly outdated technology. And then, oh, talk over is dub. Yes, indeed. So that's a very clever clue. So you would dub dialogue onto an existing film recording. You would overdub, you could say as well. Talk overdub. All right, that's very good. Marijuana, some say. Boy, it's just so long. I feel it could be many things. We're just going to have to wait for some crosses here. The right one can produce a smile. The right one can produce a smile. I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep working through the crosses and see if we get anything. We've now sort of completely sealed off this area. So these 2 down crosses are the only crosses we're going to get now from this area, because everything else is completely contained. So, okay, like typical projects in Popular Mechanics magazine in brief. I suspect this would be DIY, do it yourself. I'm guessing that Popular Mechanics magazine has projects with steps that you can follow at home. Citing in a classic Looney Tunes cartoon. Wow, that could be a lot of things, couldn't it? Surely. You'd think that would have many options. Appointed by the court. And accept a proposal. To say yes, you could accept a marriage proposal, for instance. Silent partner. Oh, I don't think I saw this clue somehow. Silent partner. So I'm guessing this is a word that goes with silent. We've got that question mark, the pun indicator. I'm guessing this is a word that is accompanied by the word silent frequently. That's my guess. Maize patties. Period. A period could be an era. Like a period in history, for instance, I mean. Home to the highest active volcano in the world. Boy, I don't know offhand. I really don't. Seems like the kind of fact that should be just sort of generally known, and maybe it is to people, but not by me. Appointed by the court. And blank noirs, bugbears. Could be, what is that? Bete noir? Bugbears? Does that work? Let's check the crosses on that. Majors, say. Brass? It could be majors as the Not as in, well, there are many things majors could be, but this one might be the military rank, and so it could be refer to brass, high-ranking military figures. I'm wondering. Kufrin of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Well, if you've been watching this series for any length of time, you'll be shocked to learn that I'm completely at sea when it comes to The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I have absolutely no idea. I have not seen either of them. So that is too bad for this purpose. Archetypal bossy pants. Archetypal bossy pants. Is that maybe some kind of type A thing or something? I'm wondering, bossy pants is a pretty slangy word, obviously, so I'm wondering if we have to come up with something similarly casual or jargony or slang-like for this answer. But again, it's pretty long, so I feel as though the possibility space here is still pretty wide open. Disgusting build-ups. Well, could it end with an S? Disbands. This will probably also end with an S, so that's not very helpful. Well, I mean, it's helpful in the sense that it probably means the S is correct, but it doesn't give me any more information. Here we have tears. Could be tears or tears. So, I mean, for instance, if it were tear something up, it could be wrens, but if it were tears, it could be, I don't know, teardrops or something, probably not drops. I don't know. Boy, I'm not doing very well, am I? Eponym of a Lifetime Achievement Award in Fashion since 1984. Oof, I have no idea. I really have no clue. Memory measure. A byte, perhaps, if it's memory on a computer system, maybe? Citing in a classic Looney Tunes cartoon. Oh, putty tat. How about that? I taught putty tat. That's Tweety Bird who says that, right? About, is it Sylvester the cat, I think? That sounds right to me. Okay. I wasn't expecting to get that anytime soon, so I'm pleased about that one. Is this Neruda the poet, maybe? Appointed by the court. Well, it probably ends in ED, right? Certain pie filling. Bread? Doesn't seem likely. Silent, oh. No, never mind. I was thinking that was maybe silent and steady, but that doesn't actually seem like a real phrase, and also doesn't fit. So sort of irrelevant. Boy, I really feel as though I should be able to get this silent partner thing, but I'm just not doing it, am I? What am I doing? I should probably move on. I'm just spinning my wheels up here in the top of the grid, making no progress at all. Kind of grass. A reed, maybe? What did I said this was arepas ages ago, didn't I? Why didn't I think I just wasn't very confident about it. Appointed by the court. Oh, anointed, maybe? Like a royal court? Do we also use this terminology? Oh, no, that doesn't seem right. Maybe not, yeah. Silent partner. If this were Neruda, home to the highest active volcano in the world. I don't know. Once again, I'm just sort of doubting everything. I'm going to delete it all. Okay, well, like the villainous Max Shrek, this looks like an adjective. He's been somethinged. What? He's been whatted. I don't know. Crime show extras, for short. Maybe perps on a crime show, perhaps? Oh. I bet this is Andes. Home to the highest active volcano in the world. I bet it's the Andes Mountains. Arepas, Pablo Neruda. Silent but deadly is the partner. Okay, here we go. Just needed one little bit of one more suspicion, I guess, to confirm all my other suspicions. Okay, well, I'm glad I got maize patties early on. I wish I would have had the confidence to put that in earlier. I still don't know what happened to the villainous Max Shrek at the end of Batman Returns, unfortunately, but maybe we'll get there eventually. Well, we presumably will eventually. The right one can produce a smile. Perspective, maybe? The right perspective? That's kind of a fun central answer for a crossword. Central clue and answer. because it's sort of what happens in the crossword when you finally get the right perspective on the clue that you've been circling around here for absolutely ages, like up here. I don't actually know if that's correct, but it does fit, and it seems fit. Not only does it fit, it seems fitting. What about this? That villainous Max Schreck. He is definitely a villain as far as I'm concerned. He's my villain. He's my Bane in this crossword here. Although I think Bane is a Batman villain as well. I actually have not seen the Batman film with Bane in it, but what I meant when I said Bane was, your enemy, your foil, your antagonist. Anyway, Max Schreck is certainly my villainous figure here. Why can I not figure out what he was at the end of Batman Returns? Sorry, I know. This is the kind of thing I really shouldn't focus on, because to everybody who does know it, it's just a straightforward answer based on knowing the film, and they're going to be yelling at me like crazy because they know what it is, and I'm not going to just guess, am I? Anyway, Blank Vecchio is the Ponte Vecchio, the old bridge in Rome. So that's at least a straightforward fill. Can get that in the grid, which is nice. Humble, archetypal bossy pants. Result of selling out. Result of selling out. So it's either selling out as in compromising your morals for monetary gain, or it's selling out as in literally selling all of the units you had in stock of inventory. So what is it? I can't really tell in either case. Part of a quote. Could be a quote as in a quotation from a literary text or something, or it could be a quote as in an estimate of the cost of performing a service. Do I know either of those? Doesn't seem like I do. Tears or tears? Well, it's not wrens, so we see that. Well, unless perspective is wrong, which is entirely possible. Maybe we should check the crosses on that. Sayings attributed to Jesus. Boy, that V actually isn't very confidence-inspiring. That's not great. Maybe I should delete this. Oh, that's sad. Perps is probably right. The right one can produce a smile. I don't know. It's a racket. It's a racket. Din, maybe? If we take racket to mean a big noise, you're making quite a racket. You're making quite a din. Horn of music. Is Lena Horne a musician? Is that? I think I know Lena Horne as an actor's name, but maybe a musician as well. I'm not sure. I'm gonna guess about that. I could be completely wrong. Hollywood precursor ? Interesting. I wonder if this is maybe the precursor with a question mark. I wonder if it means someone's name whose surname is Hollywood. I wonder if that's what that means. In other words, precursor is something that goes before the word Hollywood. I wonder. Like early uncensored Hollywood films, they were pre-code, prior to the introduction of the Hays Code, which regulated and censored Hollywood motion pictures. So pre-code movies tend to have more sex and violence and that kind of thing. Okay, result of selling out. And part of a quote. And part of a play group. Could be an act. You could have a group of acts in a play, several acts in a play. The question mark again indicates that we're doing some kind of pun or wordplay here. Dome. Well, it could be a physical dome. Could also be, in a slangy way, referring to the top of someone's head. Hear that sometimes. So it could be that. Russian writer and dissident Limonov. I'm not sure. Hand gets tight. Well, in the, I don't know, 30s and 40s, I want to say, tight, 20s, maybe 20s to 40s, tight was used to mean drunk. I don't know if that's what this is referring to. Probably not. gets tight. It could be becomes close to somebody, to a friend. Okay. Rough Blank Anthem, 1998 hit single for DMX. I don't know. Marijuana, some say. Okay, let's Bronze Producers. This. I am really not doing well on this puzzle, have I? What a disaster. Okay. The right one can produce a smile. I'm pretty confident about perps. Oh. What if we take the right one to mean literally right, as in right and left? And what if it were parentheses? So, in other words, you have a left parentheses and a right parentheses. And the right parentheses is used to literally produce a smile in an emoticon, the thing that has now become almost completely outdated in the era of selfies. Sorry, why did I say selfies? In the era of emojis, I guess I was thinking of smile and I don't know, my brain doesn't work today. But yeah, what if this is parenthesis, not C's, because it's a single one, and that would be plural, but this is singular. And by that I mean, can I type that in the grid? I can. So here we have an emoticon, the textual precursor to emojis. And the right parentheses produces a smile. So how about that? I bet that's it. Does that help us with anything else? Disbands. Ousts. That's not really completely accurate. Sayings attributed to Jesus. This was one of the things that made me think that perspective was wrong, that V just didn't seem useful. Sayings attributed to Jesus. It's probably very obvious, but I can't really bring it to mind. Result of selling out. I wonder if it could be somethingness. I don't know. Eponym of a Lifetime Achievement Award in Fashion since 1984. I wonder if it's a Betty Award, Betty Davis. Is there any way that's somehow what it is? I'm not really sure. These crosses don't look very helpful. That would also seem slightly surprising, but humble. Boy, this parentheses didn't get me very much, did it? Humble. Bronze producers. Haven't really looked at this. Bronze producers. I mean, it could be a bronze medal. Bronze producers. Could be a society that was a Bronze Age civilization. Marijuana, some say. Certain pie filling. I'm really not doing well today. It's not very encouraging. Archetypal bossy pants. Archetypal bossy pants. Result of selling out. So what can you sell out? You could sell out your inventory. You could sell out tickets for a show, and you'd have standing room only, SRO, as used to come up in the New York Times crossword a fair bit, but I haven't seen it in a while. That would give you a packed house if you did that, if you sold out a show. Result of selling out, packed house. Actually, that would actually allow this to be Betty. Interesting. It didn't really look right when I put that in. This really doesn't look right. Maybe brass is wrong, but that really seems correct to me. Archetypal, but I don't think that's what this is. Bell, maybe? Eponym of a Lifetime Achievement Award in Fashion. Bell? Certain pie filling. Why am I struggling with this so much? It's really disconcerting. Kufrin of the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. I'm not going to know this. I was hoping it would start to look like a common name, but I don't know. One way to put on a coat. Sorry, I've had a completely ridiculous response to this, which was starting to think pants first because of the ANT. The letters just sort of collided in my brain to make that nonsensical phrase. Suppose this could be Sasha, maybe. I don't know. Part of a quote. One way to put on a coat. Oh, paint. Maybe a coat of paint. One way to put on a coat. Paint what? Paint roll, paintbrush, paint What? Put on a coat of paint. It's got to be what it is, right? There's something interesting here as well. Look at this. We've got P's disposed in this sort of diagonal line. Sorry, I know I'm making a mess of this cursor. But if we have P, 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 and then also there's B's here. Is that a total coincidence? Is there something? I know it's a themeless puzzle, but sometimes even in themelesses, constructors put in little, just funny little flourishes like that. I wonder, that's probably a total coincidence. Would this be P Hollywood precursor? Oh, actually it is. Planet Hollywood. Look at that. I'm flabbergasted that worked. Part of a quote is a price. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Is this a P as well? Certain pie filling. Panini bread? That doesn't make any sense at all. What is this? Archetypal bossy pants. I don't know. Sorry. And humble, is that something? Pokey? You could have something. I mean, pokey means sort of not very impressive. I don't know about that though. Humble. Holiday pancake. Oh, yeah, I guess that's not a P. A latke. Jewish potato pancake. So is that just a complete coincidence and I just stumbled into that being right? I'm sort of... Patty archetype... Oh, no, sorry. I thought that was the pie filling. Archetypal bossy pants. Maybe that's not a P. But paint seems so likely. I do think that probably is a P. Huh, that's the strangest thing. That might have been absolutely nothing. Holiday pancake. That's got to be latke, right? Humble. Lower? As in, you're of humble station, of lower station, that sort of thing? Bronze producers. Spray on tans? Yeah. Yeah, you're getting a bronze skin tone. Yeast? Oh no, sorry. I keep thinking archetypal bossy pants is the pie filling. What on earth is this? Oh, banana bread? Certain pie filling? How is that? Is there such a thing as a banana bread pie? I've never heard of that before. Is that what that could possibly be? Banana cream. Oh. I was completely wrong about this ending with an ED. Ad litem, appointed by the court. Okay, this must be a Latin phrase with which I'm completely unfamiliar, sorry. Yeah, wow. Okay, I really threw myself off there. What a disaster. Okay, banana cream. That's much more straightforward. Okay. Eponym of a Lifetime Achievement Award in Fashion since 1984. Oh, is this Jeffrey Bean, maybe? Is that right? Oh, and an archetypal bossy pants is a petty tyrant. Ah, boy, that is a really good collection of letters. Look at that. It looks utterly bonkers. T-T-Y-T-Y-R. Look at that. The 6 consonants in a row with 3 T's, 2 Y's, and an R. That is just nonsense until you realize what it actually is. It's 2 words, petty tyrant. Disgusting buildups. Cruds, I suppose. One of those words that you rarely use in plural, but sometimes it comes up in pluralized form in the crossword and just sounds strange because no one ever refers to cruds. You refer to crud. I don't even think even if you were talking about several buildups, you would probably still collectively refer to it as crud. Anyway, tears could be, it is wrens. Oh. Yeah, I think it is my original guess. Look at that. Okay, so marijuana, some say. Oh, a gateway drug. Some do say that. Okay. And then, like the villainous Max Schreck at the end of Batman Returns, tased. Oh, okay. Well, I don't feel too bad about not getting that. That's sort of a surprising word, but I suppose a villain might get tased at the end of a Batman film. That seems pretty likely. I have seen Batman Returns, but don't remember it very well. Okay. Disbands. Maybe it is ousts. I didn't think that was right. Because I think of disbanding as something that, a group would sort of disband itself, or maybe it is forcibly disbanded. But ousting, I think of something that happens to a particular person. This person is ousted from a position. But I guess there's probably a sense in which you could use these in the same way. All right, sayings attributed to Jesus. Oh, is it logia? Is that right? That sort of sounds familiar, but I'm not really sure if it's right. Although bygone Vatican money is probably lira. And gets tight with, oozes with? That sounds quite disgusting. Maybe this is a different vowel. The L, this looks right to me, though. I think this is correct. Dome. One way to put on a coat. So that paint is correct. That's so funny about these P's. That's so strange. I used a completely incorrect inference to get myself a P here. And I was totally wrong. I mean, we do have 4 of them in this diagonal line here, but then they're interrupted by a B and an L. That is so strange. Well, go figure. Okay. Gets tight. Gets tight. Oh, this is clever here. Gets tight and then gets tight with. Didn't notice that before. What else do we have? Sugar substitute, question mark. So it isn't literally a substitute for sugar. Is it something like snookums or something? I'm wondering if sugar in this case is being used as a pet name for an intimate, and then this is a substitute for that. It's a different one of those, like, deer or honey or something like that, snookums. I wonder if that's what this is. What a funny thing for me to get after so many more straightforward things I was really struggling with. But it might be wrong. Could be completely incorrect. River that flows through or beside 10 countries. Well, that snookums really makes this look like Danube. And a compound with a chemical twin. Oh, an isomer. Yes. And we know this. Isomers and isotopes. Isomer being the chemical compound. Non-proliferation treaty subjects in brief. Well, they'd be nuclear arms. So what are they in brief? Oh, could be N tests, nuclear tests. You'll also sometimes see that as A tests or H tests for atomic tests or hydrogen tests. You'll see that with a number of different initial letters. Okay, live on water, say, or live on water, possibly. Live on water, say. Fast, to fast, yes. Don't eat food, just drink water. Staged could be faked. And what was this? Have we looked at this? No, we haven't, I don't think. There's no doubt about it. It's a sure bet. Booker of the Senate, Cory Booker. Senator Cory Booker. And, this looks like Rough Riders Anthem, 1998 hit single for DMX, and Our Mutual Friend, Dickens' last completed novel, indeed. So that is correct. And, all right, we just need to finish off this area. Oh, we haven't seen all of this yet. We haven't seen this clue. Oomph. It could be zip or pep, maybe. Probably ends with a P in either case. Gets tight. Gets tight. Maybe it's not a P. I mean, it's going to have an S either here or here because of the gets. So it's either 2 words with an S here, and then the second word would probably be at, or there's an S here. It's probably here because this is also gets tight with. Why do I not see what this is? That's incredibly frustrating. Disbands. I was pretty skeptical about this being ousts, and I have to say I still am. Because I really don't think they're the same. And I explained why earlier, so I don't need to explain it, but that's why I don't think it's correct. This I thought was logia. That's just something I sort of remember as I think having a religious meaning in this particular context. So if that were an O, gets tight with, bonds with, gets tight with a person, bonds with them, a dome. Oh, noggin, your brain. It is what, okay, right. Use your dome, use your noggin, use your brain. Limonov. This looks like maybe Edgard. That seems, no, Edward with a U. Edward, because this could be put on a coat with a paint gun. What is a paint gun? And gets tight. Oh, tenses. So this isn't lira, it's lira with an E, which can be a plural in Italian. And then oomph is gas. Give it some gas, give it some oomph. And there's the puzzle. All right, oof. Relieved to finish that one. That really gave me a workout, didn't it? I wonder why. I found this so difficult. I just did, I suppose. I guess these long answers, I really didn't do myself any favors with banana cream by, I should be more careful about assuming past tense endings like this. Appointed by the court. I assumed that meant appointed in past tense, but in fact what it is it is appointed not as past tense, but as an adjective. It's saying this person is appointed by the court, which I guess is ad litem, which is not a phrase with which I was familiar. So I'll have to determine what that is. I'll have to look it up. I guess it means appointed by the court if I had to guess. Silent partner, silent but deadly. That took me a while to get. And then I had some early guesses here with Neruda and Arepas, and I wasn't confident enough to put them in. I was more confident about Arepas, to be fair. Bibimbap, I guess, was my first fully confident answer. Yeah, just a difficult puzzle, and some really clever cluing with things like result of selling out packed house. And this is ridiculous. The right one can produce a smile. The right parenthesis can produce a smile. That is just absolutely bananas, to refer back to our banana cream. Was really pleased to get it, but it took me quite a long time. And incredible that it also fit. The right perspective can produce a smile. Although as soon as I tried to cross anything, it started to become pretty clear it was wrong. But impressive that it fit, even including this perps here, which I was pretty sure about. Anyway, I don't need to revisit the entire crossword. You just saw me solve it. But I think a really good puzzle, a very tough puzzle by Cameron Austin Collins. So well done to him. Gave me a bit of a challenge, that's for sure. And so let's discuss some clues from yesterday's puzzle. And actually, going to put up this spoiler wall here because one of the comments that I'm going to read that was left on yesterday's puzzle, which I thought was fair enough, was from Spikel Thing, who requested that I cover up today's puzzle to avoid spoiling it for people who like to follow up yesterday's puzzle by watching the comments on it. And so they jump to this part of the video and don't want to be spoiled on the puzzle they've not yet solved. I thought that was a perfectly reasonable request, so I'll try and remember to do that each day. Please castigate me in the comments if I forget on any particular day. Anyway, let's discuss some clues from that puzzle. Now, the one that was pointed out by a number of people, including Robert Logan, in this case, was that I made reference to the answer Vermonster from yesterday's puzzle, which was clued as something like a sundae with over 14,000, ice cream sundae with over 14,000 calories or something like that. I said, oh, well, this is the second time this has appeared in the puzzle. It seems like it would be a debut, but it's not. It turns out it was a New York Times crossword debut. And in fact, what I remembered was that Vermonster had appeared in the Boss Words Fall Themeless League Challenge. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you may remember that I participated in this themeless crossword online competition. I mean, it's barely a competition. It was basically an excuse to solve a difficult puzzle every week. But I did that, and it was very fun. I enjoyed it. I'm going to do the next one when it goes live in the spring at some point. And Vermonster was an answer in one of those puzzles, and I had completely misremembered and thought it was the New York Times. So in fact, yesterday was the New York Times debut of Vermonster. And as Spiral in Your Eyes explains, Spiral in Your Eyes says it was a debut, and sorry, I can't find the clue, but someone else said that it's named as such because Vermont is the home of Ben and Jerry's. So that explains why a Ben and Jerry's enormous sundae would be called the Vermonster. So let's move on. Remy explains a dreidel because I wasn't sure about the letter that appears in the dreidel, which was shin. I am very much familiar with a dreidel and the function of a dreidel, but Remy did explain it regardless here. A dreidel is a four-sided spinning top with a Hebrew letter on each side. The four letters are Nun, Gimel, A, and Shin. The toy is traditionally given to children during the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, and games can be played with it using it essentially as a four-sided die. With each letter comes a different action. The four letters form an initialism for "a great miracle happened there," referring to a small amount of oil that burnt for 8 days at the center of the Hanukkah story. In Israel, dreidels often have the letter P for here. The crossword being based in New York, it makes sense to keep the letter Shin for there. That is fascinating. So I knew all of that except for the bit about those letters, which I did not know, so thank you for that. And both Kathy Swope and Kathleen Quinn explain that OMB stands for the Office of Management and Budget, which indeed is one of those things that I basically had somewhere in my brain but absolutely could not access during the puzzle. It was extremely frustrating. Anyway, Kathleen Quinn explains the OMB's predominant mission is to assist the U.S. president in overseeing the preparation of the federal budget and to supervise its administration in executive branch agencies. And Chasmart explains that Ed Too Tall Jones, with whom I was completely unfamiliar, was a defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had the commercial for Coca-Cola where the child timidly asks him if he wants a Coke, and he drinks it all and gives the kid his jersey. I have not seen that. And Bradley points out that La Choy is a popular brand in the international food aisle of most grocery stores. They sell a variety of Chinese ingredients like soy sauce, chow mein noodles, and water chestnuts. And thank you. Yes, I think I've certainly seen La Choy, but couldn't bring it to mind yesterday, so thank you. And finally, Chris B. explains that Amber Alerts are named partly because of the case of Amber Hagerman, who was abducted and murdered in Texas in the 1990s. Her parents campaigned for the creation of a nationwide sex offenders registry and a system to alert the community in the event of a missing child. Hence the Amber Alert, which was then, as we learned in yesterday's puzzle, backronymed to include some sort of long unpacking America's missing broadcast emergency response. I think it might have been. Anyway, that's all of the comments I had from yesterday's puzzle. Thank you for remaining till the end to go over those. And thank you for sticking with that long solve, that long, slightly tortured solve on my part. Not my finest performance, but I did enjoy and respect this, I think, very well constructed and very well clued puzzle. Some very challenging and clever clues. All right, I'll be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle. Should be a bit easier, but also much longer, that long, leisurely Sunday solve. Do come back and join me for that. Thank you to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign at any level for any time. Very much appreciate it. And if you know someone who might enjoy this series, do pass it along to them, either personally or through your online community of choice. And we've gone on long enough, so I'll cut it off there. But I will be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle. Hope you join me. Until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.